What if a language wasn't just for describing the world, but for actually shaping it? I mean, a language where every single word is a spell and the act of speaking is a form of creation. Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today with Arreqqana, a language that is pure spellcraft. And this one quote right here, it sets the stage for everything. The body is temple, the table is spell, the taste is spirit. You can already feel it, can't you? This is a world where there's no line between the physical and the spiritual, where even the most everyday acts, like eating a meal, become a sacred ritual. So where do we even begin? Well, like any good journey, we start with our very first words. Let's learn the greetings for each part of the day, and you'll see pretty quickly that this isn't just about saying hello. It's about tuning in to the magic of the world around you. Okay, so to greet the morning, you would say Zelith Savokalan. But check this out. The literal meaning is joy of the rising light. Zelith is this sense of joy or blessedness, and Vokalan, that's the very first glimmer of dawn. It's pure poetry in a simple greeting. And this poetic theme just keeps going as the day unfolds. For the afternoon, you've got Zelith San Naharun, and you can probably guess this translates to joy of the golden flame. Naharun is that high, powerful sun, the bearer of warmth. You can feel the language's connection to light and energy. Then, for the evening, there's Zelith Salumara, which means the joy of the falling light. Lumara just perfectly captures that feeling of dusk, when the light is getting soft and low. There's a kind of reverence to it, you know? A gentle way to mark the end of the day. And finally, when night falls, it's Zelith Satisava, the joy of the quiet star. Tisava brings to mind the deep silence of the cosmos, the time for dreams. So you see, these aren't just polite phrases. They're little blessings, tiny spells to align yourself with the rhythm of the universe. Okay, so now that we've got a feel for how Arreqqana sounds, let's pull back the curtain and see how it's actually built. We're moving from just speaking it to understanding its inner logic. And believe me, this language is not random at all. Every word is crafted with intention, almost like an alchemical formula. The secret sauce here is something called the prefix codex. Think of these prefixes as, well, as mystical building blocks. Each one holds a specific domain of power. For instance, Q is always tied to sacred breath or a divine message. And Kos, that's all about protection, shields, and warding things off. Let's actually build a word together so you can see how this works. We'll make the word Hilessa. First, you take the prefix Hi, which we know means sacred breath. Then you add the suffix Essa, which is a glyph of devotion that usually means goddess. Put them together, and boom, Hilessa, the breath of the goddess, a powerful, beautiful name made from just two simple parts. Now that we get how the words are formed, we can get into the why. This isn't just a language game. These words are used to speak of the divine, and in some cases, to speak to the divine forces that shape their entire world. This is where we get to the spiritual heart of it all. Right at the center of this spiritual world is a divine figure whose name is literally a fusion of two concepts, Na'ab and Lalatiaqalessa. Na'ab translates to vessel of the flame god, representing this masculine, fiery energy. Lalatiaqalessa is the sensual, blooming goddess. So their combined name represents a perfect, powerful, divine duality. And this duality isn't just an idea. You can literally see it in their sacred symbol. You've got this central flame, right, reaching up, that's the masculine energy, and at its base, a spiraling bloom opening outward, that's the feminine. They're woven together by an infinity arc to show their unity, all framed by a crescent that's both sun and moon. It's all about balance. And of course, this devotion is expressed through chant. Luluna Shah Na'abar, Lalatiaqalessa Vesa, Zavri Na'ab Illa Lalatiaqalessa Kisun. It roughly means, by the moon and fire I vow, I am Na'abar, beloved of Lalatiaqalessa. It's more than a prayer, it's an invocation, a personal alignment with these divine forces. But here is where it gets truly wild. This magic, this devotion, it's not just something you speak, it's something you live, something you embody, and yes, something you actually taste. This brings us to the Culinary-Mystic System, where the line between a recipe and a spell just completely disappears. In this system, every single ingredient is aligned with a specific emotion or energy. So a honey melon, called solivera, isn't just sweet food. It literally embodies the concept of desire and joy. Something called yombani carries the energy of love and intimacy. What this means is that every single meal becomes a potential ritual. And you can see how this would play out in practice. For instance, you might set a table of the flame, using ingredients like nalva raksa to call upon energies of power and confidence before a big challenge. On the other hand, you could prepare a table of the bloom, using Yomvani for a love feast or a ceremony to strengthen bonds. You are literally casting a spell with your menu. So what is the big idea that ties all of this together? The language, the spirituality, the food magic. What's the core philosophy that guides it all? Well, it's known as the Way of Taharem. Let's break down this last really important word. The first part, taha, means something like flowing presence or grace in motion. The second part, rem, means soul of structure or the essence of tradition. So put them together and taharem is this beautiful philosophy of balance, living a life of graceful, flowing movement that is still deeply grounded in ritual and tradition. It's the way of the wind and the root together. Exploring a world like this is a powerful reminder of the magic that's hidden in our own words, in the way we communicate every day. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. If your language was a spell, what kind of world would you speak into being?